So I've been asked over the past few days what kind of dailies I am doing on my low med level Ironman. And so instead of constantly telling people, I figured making this video would be a good thing to try to help out other people in and around my level and my situation and stuff like that. So, what stuff you're going to want to make sure that you have in order to do this particular daily run is at least 57 farming, 52 fletching, 66 magic, which you can do this with 58 magic and a super magic potion boost, 50 rune crafting, and then at least lunar diplomacy done. Ideally, in a perfect world, you'd have 68 fishing or higher for the traveling merchant, 79 mining or higher for red sandstone, 90 or higher in a skill required for player owned ports, as well as the Jack of Trades aura. So, to start off my run, what I do is I will use the Edgeville Wilderness Sword 1 teleport. You can also just use the Edgeville Lodestone. I use this because it's free, saves me a charge, all that wonderful fun stuff. You want to talk to Mr. X here, and you want to choose Skull Me, and yes, actually Skull Me. The reason why I use the Wilderness Sword 1 from the Easy Wilderness Diaries is the fact that it gives you a teleport directly to level 38 Wilderness, which gives you this herb patch out here that I plant and do my blood weeds daily. Ideally, you should do this every hour. I'm lazy. I do it every day. But this is the recommendation. You going ahead, obviously, super compost, all that wonderful fun stuff. And when you're done, you will want to head towards the southwest. So we're going to head southwest, and this is really why we ended up getting Scold here. The reason we get Scold is because we're going to run over here to the Rogue's General Store, where the shopkeep will not actually talk to you, and every creature, enemy in and around that area will actually be super aggressive to you and will obviously attack you. But he sells some stuff that we specifically want to make sure that we buy. If you do not have the farming level, feel free to Edgeville Lodestone and then just run directly north to the bandit camp. So once we get into the bandit camp, you'll want to trade this guy, Notarazzo, and you'll want to buy the 3,000 broad arrowheads that will be here if you have 52 fletching or higher, and then or the bloodweed seeds. Once you've bought those, the fastest, best thing to do is to run directly south, surge down, hit 20 wilderness, and then use a quick teleport such as the War's Retreat or any other quick teleports that you happen to have. Going ahead and deposit, bank everything you have. Now you can either head back to Edgeville, or if you've got a boss attuned, like this one I happen to have Hellware, go on ahead and enter the portal and get yourself killed just to remove the skull. If you run in and find a bunch of different things, and typically if you punch it, everything in this area, or if you do the Edgeville Lodestone, you can go and do a practice mode kill at KBD. Those are just some of the fastest ways to actually just get your character killed to reset your skull off of it. The fastest and most damage I've ever done, I was able to do 400 damage just punching KBD, so, good luck trying to beat that record. After you've died, the next thing that you want to do is you want to grab your Wicked Hood. You can get that for free from an NPC and Birth Rope if you haven't had it. And then what we'll do is we'll actually work our way from right to left across Gelinor. So if you have Anachronia and you are at one of those daily, almost every other day kind of stages to check, go ahead and teleport in here, and you want to make sure that you come up to the top here and take care of whatever base camp you have to do stuff as far as Geils is concerned. I'm unfortunately at a part currently where I need so much stuff that it's going to be a couple days. While you're here though, go on ahead and trade the general store assistant and buy all of his feathers. The next place we want to teleport to is actually Canifis Lodestone, and we're going to teleport here for a couple reasons. One, I always screw screw his name up, but the little vampire demon thing here, Maskna here. We want to buy three specific things from him. We want to buy the enchanted gym pack. We want to buy the insulated boots, and we want to buy the 3,000 broad arrowheads. Once we've bought all those, open up your enchanted gym pack, and then the next place we're going to go is Alka Red. As we're doing this run, there will be obviously some moments where I'm just quiet, obviously, because we're just watching me run. It's a very, very rough guide, so I do apologize right now for it, but it'll be out there and anyone can use it. So we want to trade Shantae here. Shantae's got some stuff that we want. The most that he can have here is 5. If you do this every day, he'll have 2, and you'll also buy another 1,000 feathers from him. So from here, we want to teleport down to Menaphos. There is a few quests that's required for Menaphos, nothing too major to get down here. If you do not come to the Menaphos Lodestone to actually get this shop, all you're missing out on is feathers. This is one of those feather shops where there is the fisher, Mina, here, and we just buy the feathers from her. Once we bought the feathers from her, we're actually going to teleport up to Lumbridge. So Lumbridge is one of those that if you've started or done any form of recipe for disaster, this is a really, really good place to stop because it's going to give you a lot of food for your player-owned farmed animals. If you haven't done recipe for disaster, disregard this area. Just keep in mind for when you end up doing a little bit of recipe for disaster, this is a fabulous place to actually get some materials. So we want to click and choose buy food on the chest here. So you'll want to buy the 5 grapes and the 10 tomatoes, and that will typically fill up your inventory. You'll then just bank everything, and now you'll buy out the 50 cooking apples. Some of the animals on the player-owned farms only eat fruit, or fruit is one of the things that they can buy and that they can eat, so we'll buy out all those. Once we bought those, we'll then teleport to Draenor, and as you see, we're working our way from right to left. You can do this the reverse way, left to right. I do right to left because it's easy for me to remember, and I don't have anything to do in Prif at the moment. So hopefully that will help you in remembering how to use this, and so you don't have to have this up every time you look to go. So we'll talk to Olivia here, and we will want to buy the seeds from her. You can buy all the seeds. I tend to just buy all the ones that are under 80. So these, it gives you 80 seeds a day. It doesn't really matter. Ignore the microtransaction thing that popped up. So the next place we want to go to is actually Port Sarim. Port Sarim has a couple things that we're actually going to buy, and it's a couple things that I actually think are really useful. You can buy from Wyden more tomatoes if you wish, as well as raw beef, but I tend to skip those because I hoard enough from doing this run every day that buying from him is not a waste of time, but it's just kind of a waste of a stop. I want to right click travel to Squire here, and we'll arrive at the Void Knight outpost. We'll run over here to the NPC, to the Squire here, and we'll want to trade. This is the first of many rune shop runs we'll do. So we'll buy all the fire runes, all the elemental runes, the waters, the air, the earth, the minds, the bodies, and then you kind of want to skip these. You can buy a few of these to kind of give yourself a stockpile for your Viswax, but don't fret on not being able to buy any or all of those. Next, we'll teleport to Birthrope. If you have Jack of Trades and you're wanting to use your Jack of Trades aura, this is the part where I would recommend you do so. My Iron's age is young enough that I do not have enough loyalty points at the moment to buy Jack of Trades, but if I did, this is where I would take care of it from. So once again, we want to buy the insulated boots, the broad arrowheads, and the enchanting gem packs. So we're buying the enchanting gem packs and the insulated boots for later on when we've unlocked invention. That's kind of the mindset of what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that when we are finally competent at the game and have invention unlocked, we do have all the necessary tools at our disposal to train that skill effectively. You can either lodestone to Taverley or you can just run south. It really is just a surge and then a little bit of a run. We want to trade this Mess Sergeant Ramsey. We're going to buy out all of his potatoes, and we're going to buy out all of his tomatoes. And this is kind of the end of the food run for the early game player owned farmed animals. You can either buy out all 10 potatoes or you can just buy out the 3. It doesn't really matter in terms of everything, but for this, I will make sure that I go on ahead and buy everything just so that we have it as an example of what all to have. I should have noted how much I started with as far as the things that I had in my bank to show what you get off of this daily run. Just know that you get a lot of things that future you is going to be very, very glad that you took the time to do. This full run costs about 2 million GP, which means to make sure that you're constantly staying up and being able to upkeep this, you need to do at least an hour of either token farming or gold farming with ED1 or ED3 respectively. We're going to run over here to Jatix and buy the limpworts, the white berries, and the unicorn horns. If you haven't, go on ahead and buy like the vial of waters, the eye of newt if you've never done this, as well as the red berries. You don't have to do the red berries. They are used in a Guam potion. But once you've bought those, you're good here. The next place that we want to go, again working from right to left, is we'll want to actually hit up Catherby. So at Catherby, there's a specific NPC we want to talk to, and it's Arheen. Now, we don't want to right-click and trade him. We want to choose to talk to him. And there's 2 chat interfaces. We want to make sure we hit 2 to talk to him about seaweed. He has 80 a day, and we'll buy 80. It'll cost us 160 GP. And then we want to talk to him again, and we want to buy pineapples, which we can buy 40 from, which will also cost us 80 GP. So, the 80 seaweed, along with doing a couple other things, will allow us to get 80 molten glass a day, which is just a little bit of free crafting experience. And the 40 pineapples gives us essentially 2 2/3 worth of inventory of super compost a day. Now, if you've done a part of the Karamja diaries, it's not the easy, I believe it's the medium, possibly the hard diaries, but I think it's the medium. You can come up here daily and talk to Del Monte and choose claim, and he will give you 40 pineapples. When you've done the elite, he'll actually give you cooking apples as well. So once again, this gives us a total now of 80 pineapples per day, which happens to give us, 15 super compost, almost 3 inventories full of super compost. Again, working from right to left. If you've done as a first resort, our next place is going to be Glogg. And we're going to actually end up skipping Ardoin and the player-owned farm stuff until the absolutely very end. And the reason why I do that is because that's a pretty good bank spot to kind of throw all of your stuff in at the very end and take care of your animals and other things like that. So here at Glogg, we actually want to stop at a few places. We want to stop and talk to Fraud. And because, like with all the other people, she sells feathers. So if we maintain this, we can actually get our feathers done daily. There's 3 feather shops that we buy from, meaning that we get 15,000 feathers a day. And we want to buy from Charger, we want to buy the raw meat packs. You can buy the raw beef if you have spiders or dragons in your player-owned farm to kind of upkeep their food. So we do this feathers because we need a total of 800,000 broad arrows in order to get 99 fletching from 52. That takes about 3 months, 89, it's like 89.6, so 90 days of buying broad arrowheads, which gives us 9k a day. So by buying 15k feathers a day, we're just getting the feathers done faster and faster. Once your feathers are done and you have your 800,000 feathers bought, you can skip buying the feathers at that point. So now we're going to actually move into the major rune buying. We kind of already took care of it when we did the Port Sarem part as far as a third of it. So once we teleport here, we actually want to open this door. And if you've done the Hand in the Sand quest, you want to talk here to Bert and talk to him to get your 80 buckets of sand. So that's where you get the sand component for your seaweed component you got earlier to make your molten glass. So if you have a super magic potion, and you're 58 magic, you can actually use it to boost here, to get in here, because you require 66 magic to get in. So you want to talk to the magic store owner here, and once again, this is where you're going to buy a lot of your runes. You buy all of the elemental runes, you buy all of the mind and body runes, all the soul runes, the law runes, the nature runes, and again, you can feel free to buy the bloods, the chaos, and the death as well. I will go on ahead and do it here at this shop, just so you can see that I'm not telling you just to do it because I want you, but you can buy it. Once you've bought here, you want to come up here to Lunar Isle. And here at Lunar Isle, if you have not completed Lunar Diplomacy, you will need to have your Seal of Passage on. If you have, you'll be able to come inside this house here, and you'll be at Baba Yaga's. I recommend, if you want, to buy these battle staves. So you can either turn around and just high alch these battle staves. They cost 7k each. You're able to actually high alch them for a negative. But with the molten glass we have, you can actually turn those into air orbs, and then use those air orbs with an obelisk with cosmic runes and the respective elemental staff or elemental runes to turn them into battle staves for not only crafting XP, but you actually profit around 2.8k per battle staff. So once again, we want to make sure we buy everything. The major thing that we want to make sure we buy here are the astral runes, the soul runes, the law runes, the elemental, pretty much everything that we've already bought. If you've done any parts of the Varrock diaries, whether you've done easy, medium, hard, or elite, you want to come over here to Naff, and you want to make sure that you buy your battle staves here. So at this point, the run is essentially done. However, there's one more thing that we have to do, and that is making sure that we go and we check on our kingdom. After you've done Throne of Miscellanea and Royal Trouble, it's the sequel to it, you gain access to managing Miscellanea. As far as what to put your workers on, a lot of people suggest herbs. The issue with me with doing herbs is by the time you come to collect it, your herblord should be past the level where you need all of those Guams and Marentil and Harlander that it likes to give you. I recommend maxing out on hardwoods, either teaks or mahogany. Teaks are a little bit better because they're a lot cheaper in terms of maintaining it, and then putting the rest that you have into maples. Once you hit the construction level or the fire making fletching level that you want, feel free to take off as you need and either put it into fish, or you can put it into coal for your auto heater or whatever you so wish. I am currently doing hardwood. I'm currently doing hardwood until I hit 79 construction, and I'm using my maple logs that I'm getting from my 5 workers put in as my major fletching component to get my arrow shafts, and as my fire making training. So we can choose manage, and this is currently how my subjects are distributing their effort. I can actually change it. In case you screw something up, feel free to come in and change it right before you check, and we'll change it as accordingly. And then you can make sure that you have this topped off, of course, as well, or as much as you want. It takes 50k a day if you've done Throne of Miscellanea, or 75k a day if you have done Royal Troubles. So now we'll collect just to kind of show you that it does change based on what you change it to. So since yesterday I came and checked, and it's been 3 days, and so since it was on mahogany, you see now I'm sitting on teak logs. So if you screwed up, you're sitting on coal, you're sitting on something else, you can come in and change that right before the very end of it. So now the last thing that we're actually going to teleport to is we're actually going to go and we're going to take care of our player-owned farms. I love how we got that chat box again. So we'll go and teleport to player-owned farms. Here, your animals are going to look different than mine. If you have any direct questions, feel free to reach out and ask me, or anybody else who is maybe more knowledgeable or knows what the heck is going on. But you want to come here and you want to make sure that you've bought woad leaves from Wyson for 25 GP each from Folidor. He's right next to the mole boss pit, and you want to run east of here to the beehives. So it can fill up with 27 flowers maximum, and every day, if you do this at reset when you check, you get an 83.3 XP drop per flower. If you do a very, very, very quick calculation on that, you will see that there are 7 of these. So 83.3 times 7 times 24. This gives you essentially a free 14,000 farming XP per day for doing absolutely nothing. It requires 17 farming to start this. And so if you're at 17 farming, 14,000 farming literally gives so much XP. You will go from like level 22 farming or from 17 farming all the way almost to 30. It is absolutely crazy that something like this happens to be in the game, even after it has been nerfed. So while we're finishing up this, the next thing that we're actually going to go to is we're going to head and use our Wicked Hood to teleport towards the top of the Wizard's Tower. And we're going to use our, well, here, let me show you. I'll take care of this a little while later. So we'll teleport with our Wicked Hood, and we'll want to enter this runecrafting guild portal, which is why you require 50 runecrafting to get in. So there's a website. You can look up warbandtracker.com/Goldberg. There's a lot of Discord bots that will do it as well. And so the way that this works is you want to put in the 3 different kinds of runes and get a certain amount of Viswax off of it. So today happens to be death runes, water runes, possibly, and air runes. And so why I try to be as efficient as I can, I certainly aim for high 70s minimum, 77, 78 or above before I go on ahead and combine it into Viswax. You're more than welcome to try to try to get those 100 Viswax per days. I am just kind of lazy and not really interested in trying to maybe go craft all of those combination runes that I happen to need or buy the other runes that I happen to need at that given time. But other than that, that's pretty much the dailies run. If I keep track and look at the video now, it took about 23 minutes explaining it to you. This is obviously not taking care of, fletching your daily broad arrowheads if you have it, or taking care of mining your red sandstone or stuff like that. So I might come out and make another one of these when my character gets up to that point for maybe a med high level instead of a low med level. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it helped. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see you all later.